week 17. 2 weeks left in this amazing regular football season. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun. But it's got to come to an end. Playoffs are right around the corner. But first, I just want to give a shout out to possibly the best fight I've ever seen in fantasy football history. That was back and forth, two juggernauts just squaring off. It had nothing to do with me. I was out a long time ago. My team was average all year. But my good friend Lance and our friend Dallin duked it out heavyweight style, and only one team could come away with a victory. Unfortunately, Lance came up like 5 or 6 points short because George Kittle had a monster day on Monday night. But to you two for having a wonderful fantasy season.
Um, Thanks, Andrew. That was quite the finish. That was frustrating, frustrating to say the least. Um,
Hmm.
I think I hate George Kittle even more today than I did yesterday.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
props to
And there
Dillon.
was a couple of crazy performances. Yeah. A couple of crazy performances. His Saints defense scored like 28 points. You had a couple guys that are good players, but you didn't expect like almost 30 points from Ash and Dinty against the Texans defense, but you'll take it. So it was well fought, well played, but only one could come victorious. And honestly, going in to the playoffs, I was thinking Down had the best team. I didn't see who could beat them. You almost did. And the guy he's going against just put up 200 points. Puka Nakua to score 50 again, but he has that potential. So that's going to be a fun championship game right there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes. I'll be the biggest Eli fan. That was a good back and forth. And, oh,
Yeah, yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was. Well, without any further ado, so we don't have to continue the sad state that the fantasy season's over for both of us in that league. Let's go on to actual football instead of fake football. Let's go on to Christmas Day games. So again, we'll leave the Vikings and the Eagles games for last. But let's go into Christmas Day games. And I'm going to say this. I always have to pick some upsets, so I pick some upsets, but I have some with a couple asterisks, and I'll get to them. Not this game, but I'll get to them. There's a couple asterisks I just want to touch on. So first, we're going Cowboys at Commanders on Netflix, 11 a.m. I think Netflix kind of got the raw end of the deal this year because both these games teams aren't really either all that great or they're not playing for anything. The only team that has anything to play for is the Lions, and they're barely hanging on by a thread. But this game, I think the Commanders are more checked out than the Cowboys. The Cowboys have at least, some veterans and they have players that are trying to vie for a team mixture, like George Pickens, for example. He's had an amazing year. He's a free agent. So he wants to kind of showcase that, hey, someone going to pay me some money and somebody will. I don't know if it's the Cowboys, but somebody will. Um, and the Commanders, I mean, they fought against the Eagles. They fought hard. They're not going to just lay it down and die. But I don't think that they have as good a talent as the Cowboys do. And they're probably more looking to getting a higher draft pick than winning this game. And the Cowboys are kind of the better team anyway. So I'm going Cowboys in this game. Confidence of 7, so I'm not like extremely confident, but I think that their offense is good enough to get a win, even with both these teams are kind of checked out.
yeah, I went with the confidence of 10. I think that the big factor for me is Schottenheimer, I think, is coaching for his job right now.
For sure. For sure.
I think if that wasn't the case, because I think Dan Quinn's coming back.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my feeling.
Based off of last year. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that Brian Schottenheimer's trying to prove a point, and so he really needs to sweep these last two games. So I went with a confidence of 10. I do think that the Cowboys' offense is still they're still really good. That yeah, that
Hmm.
wasn't a close game against the Chargers, but also I think they were deflated a little bit. Now the
For sure.
Commanders, who is Mariota? playing on Thursday? Have you heard?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not fully sure. My guess would be yes, but I don't even know. And I don't know if it super matters. I know Mario's played pretty decently, but I don't think it's enough to win this game, though.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, should we move on to the
Let's go to Sunday night. Well, not Sunday. I guess that's Thursday night because I every time I see 6:15, I think that's Sunday night football, but this one's Thursday night football. There's three Thursday games. Broncos at Chiefs. This one's on Amazon, so they got well initially until a couple weeks ago a really good matchup, but now they have a third string quarterback for the Chiefs because Gardner Minshew also tore his ACL. What's going on over there in Kansas City? And now I don't know if you heard they're moving to Kansas in 2030 or 2031, something like that. So they're not even going to be in Missouri anymore. It's just, a lot of crazy things are happening. But the Broncos coming off that really tough loss. Congrats to the Jags. I mean, they are on a heater right now. And, little sneaky point. This is the time of the year you want to have the best momentum. You want to be playing the best. You want rhythm, and the Jaguars are playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of rhythm. I don't know. They might be a sneaky team in the playoffs. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. But for this one, Broncos coming off that tough loss, they're going to want to rebound. They're going to want to just put it to the Chiefs because Broncos, I mean, I think they're still in that number one seed, or is it the Patriots now? It's
no,
either one of those
they're
two.
still one.
Okay.
They're one.
Okay. So they want to hold on to that for sure. They want that buy. That buy is very important. So I don't really think there's much else to say about this. I have the Broncos with a confidence of 15. There's only one other game I have a higher confidence in. Broncos should win this game. They should rebound.
I This is my most confident the game, Andrew, and it's only because of the KC position with their
Hmm.
quarterback. So I went with them. Note on the Kansas discussion part. I know it's a bummer for Kansas City, Missouri, but it feels like to me it's like the best of bad outcomes because you're technically not
Yeah.
losing them like you would be like Los Angeles Rams, right? For the St. Louis
Yeah.
Rams.
Yeah.
That was moving across the country. There goes your team.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's totally fair. It's just kind of few more hours away instead of like in your backyard from Missouri. So it's not awful, but it's still, that's a classic stadium, Arrowhead Stadium. But hey, I might be kind of new school in this against the old school, but I am totally for stadiums that are indoors, domes. I'm not a huge fan of those outdoor stadiums because A, the game gets a little sloppy, and B, that's a huge home field advantage if you are used to cold weather. Like for example, Buffalo. In the winter, it's a huge advantage for Buffalo because the snow and everything. It makes the game a little sloppy. So I just prefer indoor games, but I might just be kind of on the new age kind of a thing.
Yeah, I prefer the classic stadiums. For me, I'm like, I want the snow, I want the weather, but
Hmm.
I know that there are those that they want no part of that, that is not something
Hmm.
for them. So I get it. I understand why they're doing it. I know that has had, Kansas City's had some of the most brutal winters. So totally understandable
Yeah.
why they'd want to avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go to the Saturday games, and these are going to be two fun games in their own way. So first, Texans at Chargers.
Great game.
Both team, yeah, both teams coming off a big win. Texans barely pulled off a win against the Raiders. Raiders played well. That was a sneaky close game. Raiders almost won that game, but the Texans got the win, and they are not out of that division race yet with the Jags. They're just one game
Mhm.
back. And do they play each other next week?
They do.
So that's
That's probably
both.
I think that's going to be your Sunday night football game, depending on
Oh,
this outcome.
that's gotta be. That's gotta be. Um, so that I mean, the Texans and Jaguars. Honestly, are playing the best football of the whole league right now because they're both on a big win streak. They're both playing really well. Um, I like what the Texans are doing on defense. CJ Stroud starting to get things back together. And the run game with Woody Marks and Nick Chubb. I think Woody Marks missed last week, so we'll have to see if he plays. He should because it was like a game time decision kind of a thing. But he's been a really good like number two back, but a 1A or 1B back with Nick Chubb. And then with the Chargers coming off that big win against the Cowboys, but I still have concerns with those tackles. And against an elite pass rush like the Texans, Justin Herbert is not going to have a lot of time. So I believe this is going to be a very competitive game. It's going to be back and forth, but I am going to lean toward the Texans defense beating the Chargers O line enough to pull out a win. And I mean, I'm not super confident. I have the Texans with a confidence of two because this one's going to be close. This one's going to be competitive. It's going to be fun, a great game. But I'm going to lean pass rush over O line. I got the Texans winning.
Yeah, I have the Texans. I went with a confidence of 6 just because of some other matchups.
Hmm.
Um, and I think the part that I just think about is I can't get the wild card game from the last playoffs out of my head.
That's a very good point. Very
And
good point.
um, so I know that the Texans will be on the road this time, so maybe that's going to affect things. I think D'Amico Ryans lives rent free in Justin Herbert's head with the schemes he's able to come up with. I mean, they had 5 sacks
Hmm.
against the Chargers. They had a great day. Um,
Yes.
and I mean, not to mention even on that front, I just want to make sure it was 4 sacks. They had 4 sacks. But the part that was really problem is that a big problem was Justin Herbert had 4 interceptions. So I'm just
Hmm.
curious, what's going to happen? D'Amico Ryans only has a 1-0 record against the Chargers. Surprisingly, I didn't realize they've only played one time against each other. But right now, I feel like D'Amico Ryans, his defense, what they did to Josh Allen, I I, I think that'll happen again
Hmm.
against Justin Herbert, especially without 2 tackles.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. My only slightly lean toward that I'm only at a two is because Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in this league. He will figure
That's
something
fair.
out. So he'll bring both tight ends in to help block and then have like one or two guys in routes and just run the ball all day long. That kind of thing. So he'll adjust good enough. And like you said, it's at the Chargers, but I'm still with you. I think the Texans pull it off. They just have such an elite pass rush, and I don't think that Justin Herbert's going to be able to pull it out.
Yeah,
But moving on to Saturday night football, this one, this one's gonna, could be potentially interesting because it could be two backup quarterbacks.
yeah,
Because Lamar Jackson had that back contusion, which early reports, we're recording this on Tuesday. Early reports is that it's nothing significant, that he should be able to play, but that's a should. We'll see how practices go. He did leave that game early, and I'll give credit to Tyler Huntley. He played fine. He didn't play poorly. He got his team in position to score points still, even when he took over. But got to give credit to the Patriots. Down 11 in the fourth quarter, they came storming back and won that game. A game the Ravens needed to win. They just came up short. And going into this game, they're still technically alive. It's a very thin thread. I mean, they have to win out, and the Steelers have to lose out, and they do play each other next week. So I mean, it's Ravens need to win, and they need to have the Browns to win, and then win against the Steelers last game of the year for the division. And for the Packers, that was a very tough loss. Those are kinds of losses that sometimes it kind of eats at you a little bit. And we'll have to see about the Jordan Love thing because the concussion protocol, sometimes you can come back the next week, but sometimes you don't. And he's had a week because they played Saturday last week, so he's had a full week. It's not like it's a short week, and it's not like it's a long week either. It's not like it's a Thursday to Sunday. So we'll see if he plays. So this is my asterisk game. If Jordan Love plays, I'm picking the Packers. But if Jordan Love doesn't play, I'm picking the Ravens. And as of right now, I have checkmarked the Ravens as a confidence of three because I don't think the drop off from Lamar to Tyler Huntley is a big gap. But if it's Jordan Love to Malik Davis played fine last week as well. But if it's Jordan Love to Malik Davis, I think that's a bigger gap. And if Jordan Love doesn't play, I'm going Ravens. But if Jordan Love is activated, I'm switching at the Packers. So that's my asterisk, one of my asterisks for the week. Because I want to pick some upsets. I want to pick the Ravens. But if Jordan Love's playing at home, I'm not going to be able to pick the Ravens even though I want to.
yeah. I see where you're coming from on that front. Um, I'm just trying to figure out in my head where I have things at. And I, yeah, I right now I've got the Packers a confidence of 7, and I'm in the same boat as far as you are. If Jordan Love plays, I think that the Packers win this fairly
Hmm.
comfortably. If he
Right.
doesn't, then I will probably flip that to the Ravens. So it's also an asterisk game for me, but I think I'm going to still pick the Packers.
Okay.
Um, I,
Yeah.
I mean, lightning struck for the Bears to beat the Packers like
Yes.
multiple times. That won't
Hmm.
happen again. Not in that sequence. Everything that needed to happen to
Hmm.
win, I don't think that's going to happen again. So,
For
um,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, and if this was the Ravens playing after the Steelers already played and the Steelers won and then the Ravens were eliminated, Ravens have nothing to play for, and I pick the Packers easy. I mean, like, yeah, Packers are still trying to get a playoffs, trying to get a higher seed than 7 kind of a thing. So yeah, I pick Packers easy. But since this is before the Steelers game, Ravens are still having hope and they still desperately want to win. So and even if it is Lamar Jackson versus Jordan Love, I'd be close to picking the Ravens, but I probably would side with the Packers because, of course, they are the overall better team. I just, I would think that desperation by the Ravens are feeling could get them a win, but Jordan Love plays, I probably can't pick them, even though I want to.
I understand. I get it. It's going to be a tough back and forth game.
Hmm. Hmm. For sure. For sure. All right, going to these Sunday games. I kind of love how there's Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday games. That's just so much fun. Um, but going to the
That's
Sunday
because the college
games,
football season's out of the way, Andrew. That's why
exactly.
it's here.
It's basically done. Yeah. Um, we have Cardinals at Bengals. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this. It's Jacob Brissett, who, like, again, I'm a fan of as a backup. He's been playing pretty well. He scored some points last week, not as much as he usually does, but um, he's still a good backup. And then it's against Joe Burrow, who has been really sad and depressed this year, but he had a big game last week. So good job on the Bengals there. I just think that these are two teams that are just meh. And Joe Burrow versus Jacoby Brissett. Of course, I'm going Joe Burrow. So since he's at home, they have a better record. Cardinals still have a shot at that number one pick. Probably not going to get it. They're probably going to be like in the 4 or 5 range, like they kind of always are. But they have a shot at that one pick. The Bengals have no shot. So I think the Bengals are still trying to play for pride, still trying to get some chemistry to look into next year. So I got the Bengals winning with a confidence of 8.
I got him winning with a confidence of 9. And I don't think we need to belabor the point. Chase Brown had a huge game last week. He's really
He
picked it up
did.
the tail
Yeah.
end of the season. Um, T. Higgins should be fully available this week. I expect the Bengals to win. The crazy part here is that I've heard, Andrew, is because of Zach Taylor having 1 year left on his deal, I hear he's coming back.
That's strange. That is so strange.
I don't understand that. I think you've seen
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. And if you're the franchise owning and the GM of the Bengals and you hear what Joe Burrow is saying, he is your franchise, not the coach. So you need to change things because, I mean, Joe Burrow hasn't gone to the point of asking for a trade, but he's been saying over and over he doesn't know if he can have fun again, blah, blah, blah. Like it's been really sad and just like almost emotional that he's been getting. And you want your franchise star, especially a top 5 quarterback like Joe Burrow, you want him happy. So you need to change things. Zach Taylor's been the coach for a long time. He hasn't gotten it done. It's time for a change. Time for a new voice in there to see if you can rally the troops, get Joe Burrow enjoying football again before he either A, retires, which I don't think this is an Andrew Luck situation, but I'm not saying it's not. So either A, he retires or B, he requests a trade. And if he requests a trade, he's probably going to refuse to play. So they need to make some changes before they lose Joe Burrow.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right. Next up, Steelers at Browns. So I got to give credit to the Steelers coming off that big win against the Lions. I know the Lions came storming back and they got a PI call against them. I mean, that was PI. Some people say refs shouldn't end games like that, but by the letter of the law. that was a flag, so I don't have a huge problem with it. But I just got to give credit to the Steelers. They had a big lead in that game, and even though the Lions stormed back, they held on and they won. So the Steelers, again, for like the 200th time, are going to end with a winning record, no matter what happens their last two games. It just seems like Mike Tomlin always has a winning record with this team. Does he do it well in the playoffs? Not usually, but he never has a that takes a lot of good coaching, a lot of skill. So congrats to him. Aaron Rodgers has played fine this year. Credit to him as well. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. Neither one of us are, but he's played fairly well. Got to give a shout out. Even though I'm not a big fan, got to give credit where credit's due. But like you said, Jalen Warren last week was insane. He was on the other guy's team that's in the championship in our league, and he had 35, 36 fantasy points as well. Don't expect that to happen this week. And then go to the Browns. Well, and Steelers, DK Metcalf is suspended for the next two games. I think that's a
Yeah,
big thing.
that's a big
That
factor.
because the Steelers
Suspended
had
for the
like no
dumbest reason.
receivers. Yes, that was just anyway. I don't know if we want to get into that, but that was ridiculous. And DK Metcalf is always doing things like that. That's why the Seahawks wanted to get rid of him. Um, but now the Steelers have like no receivers, and honestly, they're not gonna super potentially not super care for this game because if the Ravens lose, which is a good chance, Steelers are already locked up a playoff spot, and they're probably not able to move from their fourth position. I don't think they have a shot at three. Maybe they do, but I don't know if that super matters.
Hmm.
Um, and I got to give credit to the Browns. They played pretty well against the Bills last week.
The Bills.
Sugar Sanders made some plays. They were competitive. They just eked out a loss. They tried to win. Now, should they try to win so they can try to get a number two or number three pick? Maybe not. But Shooter Sanders doesn't care about draft pick, and he's going to just go out there and play football. And, credit where credit's due. He's been fine. He's been fine. Not horrible, not fantastic, but not horrible. So I'm going to go with the Browns. This is my confidence of one. I got to pick some upsets, but I'm going Browns to win this game because I think the Steelers
Mm,
aren't going to have a whole lot to play for, and missing DK Metcalf is kind of big because who's Aaron Rodgers going to throw to? His tight ends and Adam Thielen? Good luck with that.
I couldn't bring myself to bring the Browns, so I went with the Steelers by one.
Okay.
But I think that because of DK Metcalf being out, this game's going to be razor thin
Hmm.
close. Um, just crazy, man. It's crazy that DK will not be available for 2 weeks. Just
Hmm.
such a dumb decision on his part. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking. I still think that the Steelers pull it out. We'll see, man. Bad teams typically have one good game and like a stretch of games, and the last week was the Browns' really good game. So the question in
Mm.
my mind is, it's going to take a heroic performance from somebody. Myles Garrett, Shador Sanders, um, Fannin, if it's Joku, someone's going to have to really shine for this team
Hmm.
to be able to pull it out. And I don't know if they can do it, but it's going to be way closer than it should be because of that Metcalf suspension.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. I mean, and also kind of selfishly, I want a Ravens Steelers matchup end of the year to win for the division. I just think that'd be fun. And I'll have to say, if it happens that way, I'm gonna call it now. If it's Ravens Steelers next week for division, I'm picking the Ravens because DK Metcalf's gonna be out that game. TJ Watt's
Mm.
already probably gonna be out that game. So I'm gonna pick Ravens in that game if it comes down to that. If it doesn't matter, then who cares who wins that game because the Steelers already got the division. But that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for drama. All right, next up, a game that has no meaning. Saints at Titans. Um, Give a shout to the Saints. They've been playing well of late. They beat the Bucks. They had a good
Yeah.
game last week. They look like a team that is coached well, which we always believed they would be because we believe in Kellen Moore. And they look like a team that has some pieces. They just need to maybe draft a quarterback, maybe not. Because I'm okay with Tyler Shook. If Kellen Moore believes he can develop him, I'm fine with that because he's been fine. He's shown some flashes, but if you have the potential to get like a Fernando Mendoza, then you go get a Fernando Mendoza. but they won't because they're going to be picking like 6-ish to 8 in that range, unless you want to give up your next year first, which you don't really want to do that, especially since the next draft is going to be rich with quarterbacks. So maybe they should see Tyler Shook for one full season next year, see what they got, and then the following year they can see if they need to draft a quarterback. That's what I would say for them because, I mean, again, Tyler Shook hasn't looked great. I'm not going to say he's been awesome, but he's won some games. He beat the Buccaneers with his legs that game when the Buccaneers were fighting for the division. So just shout out to Tyler Shook. I've enjoyed what I've been seeing from him. And then on the Titans, they've been competitive. They just don't have talent on that team to win games. Tony Pollard's a fun running back to watch, but it's just not really a lot going for you. And I got to give a shout out to Dallin because I was thinking of this midway through the season with the Saints defense. But since I was already basically out and didn't really matter, I didn't pick them up. And he picked him up against you last week, and now he has them against the Titans. So the Saints defense, I was looking during the playoff time, was one of the biggest defenses to try to stream. Last week it proved really well. We'll see about this week, but shout out to him for doing that because I had my eye on it. It just wouldn't have done anything for me. Overall, I have the Saints winning this game. They're the better team. They're better coached. They maybe have the better quarterback. But yeah, I have the Saints winning this game. I'm not extremely confident. I have a confidence of 6 because the Titans are feisty and the Saints aren't really a good team still, even though I'm a fan of them. But I'm going Saints confidence of 6.
I wouldn't say it's confidence of 11. I feel like the Saints are playing really good football right now, and
Mm-hmm.
the Titans are still contending for that one spot if it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a narrow chance, and I think that they want that to be in a similar position to the Giants, where you have the chance to be able to trade it to the highest
Mm-hmm.
bidder. Um, and I think though that the Saints have the better coaching staff. They do. It's
Yes.
just that's the truth, and that's nothing against what's happening in Tennessee right now. But you already don't have your head coach. You're coaching with the who's
Mm-hmm.
left, and that's a tough task. I don't envy that job. I One of the parts I hate about firing coaches is that it means extra work has to happen by everybody,
Yeah.
um, which is just such a bummer. I don't know how you do that. That's a tall order for, and it's almost been the
Mm-hmm.
entire year, which just brings me
Yeah.
back to the point of why did you ever bring him back? Why did you ever feel like that you should
Was it
continue to
Callahan?
Callahan? Yeah, with Brian Callahan. I just don't know why he did that. That was such a bad choice. But
Mm-hmm.
we could talk about that another day. I feel confident about the Saints pick. Not so much Shook. It's just the way the team's being coached right now. They are making the
Yeah.
most of the sum of their parts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I need Tyler Shook and Chris Olave to carry me in our sleeper league because I had a dominant team all year long. And then toward the end of the year, I was ravaged with injuries. I'm looking at that team right now. I'm thinking, man, I don't like my chances at all. I barely eked out the first round playoff win by 1 point, literally 1 point. And it's bad. I mean, if you look at my bench, you see superstar injured, super. I'm like, what is going on right now? It's pretty bad. I don't have confidence I'm gonna beat. I think his name's Captain or something like that. He has a really good team. I don't have confidence in my team, but if Tyler Shook and Chris Olave can carry me, I might have a shot because that's where I'm at. I'm having to start Tyler Shook because both my quarterbacks got hurt. Jaden Daniels and Daniel Jones got hurt. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on? And
Yeah.
Rasheed Rice got hurt. Garrett Wilson got hurt. I can go on and on. That team is just ravaged. And now Quinshawn Judkins is out for the year with that terrible ankle injury. It's bad. So come on, Tyler Shook, bring me glory. Throw the ball to Chris Olave 20 times for 3 touchdowns.
We'll see what happens, but good luck to your team, man. It's pretty awesome how much success you've had in the sleeper league. My team is just we were Cancun on 3 this season.
Well, and my team is ER on 3 right now. But we'll see what happens. We'll move on here to potentially fun game. Jaguars at Colts because the Colts have been fighting. I'll give credit to Philip Rivers. He hasn't looked awful. Has he looked great? I don't know if I'll go great, but he's looked fine. He's looked like he can manage an offense, which is basically all they really want from him. But this Jaguars team, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know where the switch got flipped, but they have been on a heater of late. They are the hottest team in the league right now as far as win streaks go. They have won like 4 or 5 in a row or something crazy. And they've looked really good against good teams. Like last week against the Broncos, Broncos looked like they couldn't compete with this team. And the Broncos have been one of the best teams in the league this year. Outside their offense has been kind of iffy, but I got to give credit to the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, the past like 5, 6 games, has been awesome. I mean, we were talking about this before, where his interception to touchdown ratio was bad, like halfway through the year. Right now, because of the last 5 games, it's 26 touchdowns to 11 picks. That is pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good, especially where you started. I think he was like 9 touchdowns, 8 picks at one point, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
And now it's 26 to 11. That is phenomenal. Phenomenal change. So credit to that organization. I don't know what they did. I don't know what caused the change. Maybe it was the Jacoby Myers trade. I don't know. Because ever since then, they've been winning and looking great. Defense is looking great. Colts technically still alive for the playoffs, but they shouldn't be. They're done. Um, I have the Jaguars winning this game. I don't think it's going to be awfully close. I have this as my confidence of 11.
Um, I think that the big reason why things are changing is you've swapped out bad receivers for good receivers. It's not just Jacoby Myers. Parker Washington had a monster day.
He
Sat on my
did.
bench. Painful. Painful.
hmm
If I'd started him,
hmm
would have been a different week. Dang Wandale Watson just taking a bye week.
I
Um,
know, and it's crazy with Wanda Robinson because he's been the Giants' main receiver in the
I
slot and over
know.
the middle, and that's where the
Yeah.
Vikings are the weakest, is in the slot and over the middle. But the Giants' game plan was run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, and once it's 3rd and 8, run the ball again. That's all they did. I mean, it was wild because I was watching the replay last night of all the just the whole game because I just wanted to look at it again, and Jackson Dart had his first official pass attempt with 4 minutes left in the second quarter because they called a pass play in the first quarter, but he got sacked on it. So there are two called pass plays at the 4 minute mark of the second quarter. And it's not like the Vikings had control of the ball for a long time. They didn't. It was just Giants just ran the ball all day long. So that just really sucked. Really sucked.
Yeah. But props to you guys on pulling that game out. Props on being able to win that. Back to the Jaguars. I just think that Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers, they've just been
hmm
huge upgrades. They were not playing prominent roles
Yeah.
on this team early in the year. He put them in prominent roles, and I think they're showing that they could play competent football.
hmm
I got the Jaguars winning confidence of 14. I'm out on Philip Rivers. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter how good you're looking on the stat sheet. I'm all about the W. The W is what matters, and he's not doing enough to get the W. Um, he
hmm
did enough to keep him in the game against the Seahawks, but it's like it's frustrating, man, because like I think for like old man games, maybe someone might say to me, "Well, how could you be impressed by Joe Flacco and not impressed by Philip Rivers?" Joe Flacco did enough to win games. The defense was just so awful in those games that they couldn't pull him out. But I mean, he was pulling out monster stats, 4 touchdown games, 300 passing
Mm.
yards, 400 passing yards. That's not what we're seeing for Philip Rivers right now. He's facilitating the offense and it's looked competent, but like last night, that's just an embarrassing loss for the Colts. You just gave up so much draft capital for Sauce Gardner. And if that's the best you're going to play, I don't know what to think of this team. It, I
Yeah.
know they lost
And
Daniel Jones,
And they go back
but
to that
yeah,
draft capital. They're going to not have draft capital to help build the
right,
team next couple of years. So
exactly.
that's going to be tough.
So all that to say, I've got Jaguars confidence of 14. The Jaguars are rolling right now. They're playing
Yeah.
such dominating football.
And the crazy thing for the Colts is they were 8-2 at one point. Eight and
Yeah,
two. That's when they decided, hey, let's go get Sauce Gardner. I think they were probably 8-4 when they went and picked up Sauce Gardner, but they were leading the division like first or second place in the conference when they traded
right.
for Sauce Gardner. So at the time, it kind of makes sense. Go all in this year because it looks like you have a good team that can compete. But like you've touched on, and it was well mentioned that they're a factor of their schedule. Where at the beginning of the year schedule, they got teams that they should have got early, like the Broncos when they won that game. But they had an easy schedule at the beginning, and then to go the rest of the year, it's been difficult, and they have not won those games. Injuries are a
Right.
factor, of course, but even before Daniel Jones got hurt, they were losing games.
Well, I mean, I think another point too is I thought about was I can't believe they went to the year with Anthony Richardson as the only other backup. That was the
Yeah,
plan. I, you already knew he wasn't the answer, so I don't know why you left him as your backup. I would have traded him for something, anything, even if it's a
yeah,
sixth,
because now he has no value.
right? But you were
Yeah,
out on him. Trade him,
yeah.
go get somebody else.
Beginning of the year,
Um,
he had a little value left still, maybe like a fifth round pick or a fourth round, maybe somewhere in that range. But now everybody's like, nah, just cut him. We'll pick him up in waivers and see if we can do anything with him.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, that on their part. I feel bad for him because I've been rooting for the Colts this year because they've been kind of
yeah,
that surprise darling and it's been fun. But yeah, that they've had some poor decisions in their front office of late, and it's coming home to roost right now. We'll move on to I don't know how I feel about this game. Buccaneers at Dolphins. Um, so the Dolphins probably started Quinn Ewers again. He did not look great last week, as we kind of anticipated, and so he's probably not going to look great again. Now he probably improved because I think that the Buccaneers defense hasn't been playing all that well of late. So
they're gettable.
Quinn Ewers, he'll be improved. Devon Achane will get going. He'll do his thing. But the Buccaneers still have a shot at a playoff win in this division, especially if they look at their schedule. Now they play at the same time, but they play the Dolphins, who aren't a great team. The Panthers play the Seahawks, who are a great team. So, of course, the Buccaneers need to win out. Panthers need to lose out. But Panthers play the Seahawks, good chance of losing. Buccaneers play the Dolphins, take care of business, and then you can host, I'm not sure where that next game is, but they play the Panthers for the division next week if they win and Panthers lose, which decent chance of that scenario happening. So, and I'm just one thing I gotta say is Baker, quit losing the game for your team. It's been like 3 straight weeks where you throw a key interception to lose the game whenever your team is playing well, either have a lead or about to take a lead or whatever it is, and you throw a very bad interception to lose the game. That's what happened last week against the Panthers. It was a back and forth game. Both teams were fighting, competing, looked fun, and then the Baker just throws a pick in the fourth quarter and it basically seals the game for the Panthers. I'm like, what are we doing, Baker? You're better than that. You're better than that, Baker. You can do this. So don't lose the game this week, Baker. Take care of business, and you will win. I believe the Buccaneers will win. I have them winning with a confidence of 14 because desperation mode and the Dolphins are just a train wreck right now. I don't believe in the Buccaneers. I just believe that the Dolphins are bad and the Buccaneers are desperate. That's all I believe. So, and it's playing at the same time as the Panthers, so they won't know if they're eliminated during the game. If this was like they play after the Panthers and the Panthers won, they'd have nothing to play for. So who cares who wins? I don't know who I'd pick then, but they're playing same time, so they're going to be fighting to win. And the Dolphins are just a train wreck right now. Could the Dolphins win? Sure, but don't anticipate it. And I'm not saying the Buccaneers are going to go away and dominate. I just think that they absolutely need this win. I think they'll find a way to win. So I'm going confidence at 14.
Yeah, I'm going with confidence of 12, and I think we've already gone over all the stats and stuff, or the things that need to be discussed. I think the Buccaneers pull it out, but
Hmm.
what a weird turnaround for Baker Mayfield.
I
Started
know.
off as an MVP candidate and is ending
Exactly.
as a,
Average
I don't know.
quarterback.
I I don't even know if this is what the Browns have said would happen though. So that's the bummer part is, the narrative will be, well,
Mm-hmm.
this is what the Browns thought would happen. This is why they traded him.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sucks because he's had great success. The one part I will say about the Buccaneers is injuries have been such a huge factor for them this season. Um, and
Yeah. They are the
sometimes you can
healthiest they've
take,
been so far this year, though. Evans
I
is
know,
back,
but
Godwin's back, Bucky Irving's
it's
back.
it's true, but sometimes you can take so many holes as a team, like your ship can, and it just deflates you so much that
Yeah.
it's hard to right that ship. You know, you lose 8 games, it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to keep the morale high. And
For
the
sure.
Panthers just beat them. Like it's different when you're a team that's always been on the cusp of getting in the playoffs versus a
Mm-hmm.
team that's tasting it for the first time in I don't even know how many years it's been, Andrew, since the Panthers have been to the playoffs.
Oh goodness. Um, I remember the quarterback, but I don't remember his name. It,
2017.
it, it might have been it might have been the Cam Newton years.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Cam Newton. I was what I was gonna guess. It was 2017. It's been it'll be 8 years if they get to the playoffs.
Hmm.
Well, actually, 9 years. So uh, that's crazy, man. Actually, I think it's eight because the fact that it's the 2017 season, but that's just
Hmm.
crazy. It's crazy. So I think the
Yeah.
Panthers are in line to win this division. We'll see, but anyway, we've got other picks to make, Andrew. I'll quit belaboring the point.
No, no, you're good. You're good. And it's just been insane how the Buccaneers have just crash landed here recently. Because I still believe they have talent, but we'll see what happens. Next up, Patriots at Jets. This is my confidence of 16 Patriots. I don't really have to say much more. The Jets might be the
No,
worst team in this league. They're right
yes,
there with the Giants and Raiders. So Patriots 16.
Patriots 15. And but my biggest difference for me is the Jets still are playing semi-confident football. Chiefs are done. They're cooked. So I've
Mhm.
got the Patriots confidence of 15.
And congrats to the Patriots on a big win last week. Like I said earlier, down 11, fought through it, pulled out a win. Trayvon Henderson did get hurt. That's tough. I don't know the extent of his injury. I didn't look at it, but I know he left that game. So if that's something that's going to affect him in the playoffs, that could be the deciding factor between them making like an AFC championship or getting bounced out early. Because Stevenson's fine, but I don't think he's as good as Henderson. And if Henderson misses time in the playoffs, I don't know if he is. I haven't looked at that, but if Henderson is out for any extended time, this could be bad for this team because they're a good team. I don't think they're a great team. They're young, they're getting there. They're on the uptick for sure, but I don't think they're like as talented as like some of these other playoff teams like the Jaguars, like the Broncos. I think these guys, if they play one of those teams, I don't think they're going to win without Trayvon Henderson. So we'll see what happens in the playoffs. Hopefully he's healthy because I want to see best of best. That'd be too much
Agreed.
fun. But if Henderson's out, I don't think that they're going to last super long because Henderson is really good, really good. And I just wish he would have been good at before, like earlier in the season when I had him on my fantasy teams. But that's just neither here nor there. We'll move on to a potentially more fun game. Well, definitely more fun than that one. Seahawks at Panthers. So I don't think either one of us are a true believer in the Seahawks because they keep barely pulling out these wins. Like against the Colts when they should have dominated, they had to come back in the fourth quarter to win. They played well last week against the Rams. Congratulations to that. That was a really good game, but it's just I don't know. I don't know if I fully buy in. Maybe I should because they beat a good Rams team and they came back down by double digits and won, even though there was some controversy on a couple things that, kind of went their way a couple times. But they are better than the Panthers. Panthers are at home and they're trying to win this division and make the playoffs for the first time. But the Seahawks also want that one seed. And if you look up and down the roster, all the way across, I think the Seahawks win every single section of the roster. O-line, quarterback, defensive backs, linebackers, whatever it is. I think the Seahawks probably win every single spot. So I'm going to go Seahawks with the confidence of 12. I know that the Panthers have been a good team this year, but the Seahawks are just on another level. And I don't think this is a game that Sam Darnold's going to fold in. There's other games where he might. like the Rams, there's a potential of it. He threw two picks to start the game, but he came back. Give credit where credit's due. He had that great fourth quarter and overtime, and he won the game. Good job, Sam Darnold. I don't think this is a game that he folds in. Maybe if the playoffs come, we'll see. But they're riding high right now. I'm going Seahawks confidence of 12.
I'm going Seahawks confidence of 5. I am concerned about upset. Seahawks have to travel to Carolina. That's incredible luck for Carolina that they got Los Angeles and Seattle at home.
Hmm.
Um, like as far as for their divisional draws, that worked out super well for them. Um, the Seahawks are coming off of a big emotional win. I know they got an extended bye, so that's going to be a factor.
Hmm.
That's going to help them a little bit. I still think the Seahawks win, but one thing I am concerned about going to this game for the Seahawks is the turnover margin. Right now, the turnover margin is the Seahawks have a -4 turnover margin, and the Panthers have a 0 turnover margin. So we'll see what that means. It's tough to read into all of the tea leaves and know what's going to happen.
Hmm.
I do want to just give a quick shout out to Bryce Young. He now has 21 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and 63.5 completion percentage. He's
Solid.
he's
Yeah.
built a solid year. Nothing amazing, nothing flashy. He's not a
Hmm.
player, but that's better than what I thought it was going to be. Um,
Hmm.
so we'll see what that means. Rico Dowdle's continue to be a great running back for him, over 1,000 yards already. So good year for him.
Fantastic pickup. Yeah. Fantastic pickup.
Yeah, only part is I think he was a 1 year rental, so I'm curious what that's going to mean in
Yes,
the off
he is.
season.
He's a free agent. Hmm. We'll see who
So
offers him the most money. Be funny if he goes back to Dallas.
that would be very weird, and I would not be very happy about that. Um, but yeah, Seahawks confidence of 5 for me.
Okay. We'll go to the next game. We'll kind of just skim through the battle of the first round of the number one overall pick, Giants at Raiders. Um, I'm neither one of these teams are very good, but I was more impressed with how the Raiders played last week as opposed
Yep.
to the Giants' game plan. So I'm going Raiders confidence of 9 because I think the Giants are just
Oh
completely
wow.
sold out. And I don't think Pete Carroll is looking at the draft because he might be done this year. So he's just wanting to have fun out there, and the Raiders have a better team overall. I mean, Ashton Genty, he doesn't care about the draft pick. Brock Bowers, he don't care about the draft pick. They just want to go out there and play. And Geno Smith really doesn't care about the draft pick because he's probably not on this team next year if they get a chance to draft a quarterback. So
Mhm.
I'm going Raiders confidence of 9 because I think the Giants are just completely done. All they're doing is making sure Dart doesn't get hurt. They're just going to run the ball 30 times in this game. They don't care what the score is. And Raiders are just playing to play. So I got Raiders confidence at 9.
I've got the Raiders confidence of 2. That's I've got nothing else to say. I think they win, but bad teams, who knows what happens. I do like Jackson Dart,
Yeah.
and I think there's a little bit of a chance to go off, but yeah, nothing else to add, Andrew.
All right. So we'll skip the Eagles Bills and we'll go to Sunday night football Bears 49ers. Who would have thought that week 17 Bears 49ers are two 11-4 teams? I would never have guessed that.
Never would
That's
have
the
guessed it.
parody of this league. So much fun. But as we both have said, lightning had to strike so many times for the Bears last week, and it's kind of been that way all year. But give credit to the Bears because you still have to execute and you still have to play well. And it takes a little bit of skill to have that happen. It takes luck as well, but it takes skill to be in the right place, right time for the ball to bounce your way. That it just is what it is. But the 49ers, I believe, are still the better team. And the 49ers control their own destiny. If they win out, they get the 1 seed. And I kind of might be predicting that in a way. I know next week they play Seattle. That's going to be a big game. But I'm going to go 49ers to win this game. They looked really good on Monday night against the Colts. I know the Colts are not a great team, but the 49ers looked really good. I was impressed with their offense. They moved the ball at will. Christian McCaffrey's healthy. Brock Purdy threw 5 touchdowns, I think it was. So they look really good right now, and I am not a full believer in this Bears team. I know they win somehow, some way. They win. So I don't have a high confidence in this, but I am picking the Niners with a confidence of 5. I think they pull out a win.
I'm going with the Niners of confidence of 4. I struggle seeing this Bears team as a deep threat team. I don't see
I
it.
agree.
I think they fold. I think they fold after an appearance in the playoffs. I mean, like looking at it
Hmm.
this way, Andrew, the Eagles won't probably face the Bears in the first round. But if for some reason they get to the second round and they have to play the Bears, I'm not terrified.
Hmm.
I'm not. And yeah, you have to go into Chicago. Yes, that'd be tough to go on the road, but I think that's a pretty good draw. And like
And
I've
it's not
honestly,
guaranteed to be the road game because
yeah,
if the 49ers lose this game, go 11-5, if you guys win 11-5, comes down to the last game.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if the Bears end up losing, but I think they will. I think the
Yeah.
49ers, I got to give props to Shanahan. The year they're having with
Yeah,
all the
it's been
injuries
awesome.
they're having,
Hmm.
it's a great year. Feather in his cap.
Yeah, this is battle for coach of the year right here between Ben Johnson and Shanahan. Ben
Great
Johnson
point.
most likely is going to win it because the Bears were the bottom feeders last year and he's completely turned them around. But Shanahan needs to be in that conversation.
Agreed.
Absolutely needs to be in that conversation.
Yeah. I think that D'Amico Ryans deserves a little credit in that discussion because the Texans have
That's fair.
totally
Yeah.
flipped the ship from where they were.
Hmm.
And Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel has to be in there too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Just curious, Tennessee Titans, how do you feel about Mike Vrabel now?
I feel like Derrick Henry could have had them both still. Could have had them
Such
both.
a such a dumb team, man. It
Hmm.
just made such bad choices.
All right. Go to Monday Night Football here. Rams at Falcons. Rams coming off that really tough loss overtime against the Seahawks, where it looked like the Rams had that in control, but they couldn't get it done. I'll give credit to the Seahawks going for two on that play because it's win lose. If you don't get it, you lose. If you get it, you win. That's bold. I love the call. Go for the win. Don't keep playing overtime. If you lose, hey, we tried. If you win, awesome. And they pulled it out. Great throw by Darnold. Give them credit. That was awesome. But the Rams, like the Seahawks, are coming off an extended rest. And Stafford, these numbers, 4,179 yards, 40 touchdowns, five
Three
picks. That's
touchdowns.
that's your MVP right there, basically. I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't see him losing it unless he ends his season with back-to-back like five pick games, which isn't going to happen. I don't see him losing the MVP.
He shouldn't.
The Falcons, though, are kind of a sneaky, feisty team. They've won the past couple weeks. They've looked good. They've looked competitive. Kirk Cousins has been playing fine to well in that range. Kyle Pitts has been showing out here recently, and it's at Atlanta, but Atlanta's not playing for anything. They're just playing to play, playing to have fun. The Rams have a lot to play for. They're not out of this division yet, I don't believe. I think they're still technically in it. They need a lot of
Yeah.
help. They need the Seahawks to lose out. They need to win out, but they're not out of the division. And it's really a big change going from a two seed or potential one seed. I think they still have a shot at that to go to the five or six seed. That's huge. Look at Minnesota last year. Went from the one seed to the five seed, had to travel on the road, lost the first round. If they had the one
I
seed,
do I do think
they
there's
at
other
least would they at
factors
least would have
though.
gone in the second round.
I think there's other factors you have to consider with that. I mean, the Lions' performance for Darnold was so bad that it definitely deflated
Oh
the
no,
team.
for sure, for sure. But if you have a bye week and you can
Yes.
kind of figure things out, why did that happen?
Yeah.
Totally
Yes.
different
Agreed.
story.
Agreed.
And I knew
Yeah.
I had that feeling going into that wild card game, like, yeah, this isn't good. This isn't good because we have to travel and we're coming off a very, very bad performance. This isn't good. So, and end up not looking good at all against the Rams. But I do have the Rams winning this game. They are the overall better team. I do have high confidence, but I don't think this is going to be a blowout. The Falcons are competitive. They're feisty, but I'm going to go Rams confidence of 10 just because they're playing for something real. They're playing for not having to travel in the playoffs.
Yeah. And I also think that the Rams are just a better team. I don't think Kirk is going to be able to carve up the Rams defense. The Rams defense has a really good defensive line on top of that. I also really like their linebacker core. Their linebacker core doesn't
Hmm.
get quite enough credit for how well they've played this year. But I've got them with winning with a confidence of 13. I think they're going to roll the Falcons on Monday Night Football. By the way, huge extended rest to go from a Thursday night
Yes,
to a Monday night.
huge. Yeah, that's a big
Yeah,
advantage for sure. All right, two
you put them
games
the
left.
Vikings back
Lions
to
at Vikings.
Christmas.
They play on Christmas. And I was so looking forward to this game last week, so looking forward to predicting something wild, but most likely JJ McCarthy is going to miss this game with that hand injury, which is very, very sad because I wanted JJ McCarthy to knock the Lions out of the playoffs because the Lions need a lot of help, but
Hmm.
if they lose, they're out. They lose or
Yep.
out. Just that's it. And I wanted McCarthy to do that, but it's most likely going to be Max Brosmer, and I do not see any possible way that Max Brosmer beats the Lions. I know the Vikings defense is going to fight. They're going to compete. Lions offense isn't going to just run all over them like they have on other teams. It's going to be a lower scoring game. I'm not saying it's going to be like 17 to 13. It's probably going to be like a 24 to
Yeah.
10
To 20.
in
Oh,
that
really?
range
Okay. Yeah.
because if it's Max Brosmer, I do not see the Vikings really scoring many points. Maybe 10
Hmm.
or 13 at the most because he just isn't ready for this league yet. And even last week coming in against a bad team, he didn't look all that great. So I'm going to give a very small asterisk to this game to where if McCarthy plays, I'm picking the Vikings to win because I want to. Not because I think they're going to win, but because I want to. But right now, I have truly believe that he's not. I am like 95% certain it's going to be Max Brosmer. And because of that, I have the Lions winning with a confidence of 13. I don't see any way that Max Brosmer beats the Lions. But small asterisk, if JJ McCarthy plays, I'm totally switching that. And I don't care that I'll be completely wrong. I will pick Vikings confidence of 13. I won't move the confidence level. If McCarthy plays, I'm switching Lions to Vikings, same confidence level. But I really don't see him playing. So I'm picking Lions confidence of 13.
Um, I've got the Lions confidence of 3, and I think that the Lions are going to win, are going to finish with a winning record. That's my prediction. I, so
Yeah.
either they win this week or next week, or they win both. But I think the Lions pull it out. The part that's going to be interesting is the conversation is going to be, do do we still allow teams to automatically make the playoffs if they win their division? I think that's going to be the discussion this offseason. Um, the Panthers and Buccaneers have both just been so meh that I think it's
Hmm.
going to give some fuel to those flames. In fact, this is a hot take. I think that because the way the seeding's going to end, it's going to just quell all conversation about the tush push, and it'll be about seeding. That'll be your major push
Mm.
in the offseason. How they want
Yeah.
to divide it up, if they're going to revisit it. So, but I've got the Lions winning with a confidence of 3, and I like the way Jared Goff's playing. I don't think he deserves flack for
Hmm.
the reason why this team's not taking off.
For sure. Hmm.
I, yes, you could argue that there's things that could go better, but the numbers are showing
32 touchdowns to 5 picks. That's awesome.
it's amazing. He would be
Yeah,
in the MVP conversation if they were a better team.
for sure. Yep. If they were 10, 11 wins, he'd be probably third place right now
Yep,
behind Stafford and May.
yep, agree. Yeah,
Um, but yeah, if McCarthy plays, I'm changing my pick, but
okay.
I don't think he's playing, which is very sad because I love what I've seen from him lately. He's been playing so well. Um, there was there was a stat going around of as how many drops the Vikings have had. They've like I was listening to this podcast where there's been like 21 drops, like legit drops from receivers, which is insane. And this guy only counted 8 of some key drops where if they weren't drops, if they were caught instead, McCarthy would have like a double high passer rating, and we probably would have won like 3 games. It's the stats he gave out were crazy because of the drop percentage these receivers have had, and they're getting paid like $70 million combined, and they've had so many key drops. Got to fix that. So it hasn't been on McCarthy. His stats hasn't fully been on him. There's been so many drops. It's been insane. But we'll move on to our last game, Eagles at Bills. This one's going to be a lot of fun. I literally changed my pick this morning because I was just thinking about it, like, oh man, which way am I going to go? So I literally changed it this morning. Eagles coming off back-to-back really big wins. Bills coming off a win, but not a pretty win. And I've kind of not been fully sold on the Bills all year long. They're a good team. They got one of the best quarterbacks, but 25 touchdowns, 10 picks, that's fine. It's not great. It's fine. And they just don't have anybody to pass it to. If you can stop James Cook, you beat this team. That's pretty much all it is. And James Cook has had a phenomenal year. He hasn't really been stopped much. But if you can stop James Cook, you will beat the Bills. And I know the Eagles' run defense has been gashed from time to time, especially like the Bears game and the Chargers game. They've been gashed on the ground. But I think if their game plan can be, we're not letting James Cook beat us. We're not letting number four get loose. I think the Eagles can win this game. Eagles offense has been getting going here lately. Been huge playing those two teams, get your confidence back up to get AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and especially Saquon Barkley going. And the Bills defense is it's fine, but nothing that scares you really. So going back and forth, like I said, initially I went with the home team. I went with the Bills, but I switched it this morning because the Eagles are they're rolling right now, and the Bills are barely winning. It is in Buffalo, and if there's weather, which I haven't checked, if it's like super snowy and the stadium is just covered in snow, I would give advantage to Bills there because they're used to playing that way. I know Philly is as well, but not in Buffalo like that. So, but for right now, and I'm not changing this. I'm not giving an asterisk on this, but I'm going with Eagles with a confidence of four. I think they're playing better right now than the Bills, and the Bills are just suspect at receiver. If they had a legit receiver, they could be a dangerous team, but they don't. They need to address that. So I'm going Eagles confidence of four.
I'm going Eagles confidence of 8. So um,
Okay,
maybe I'm filling
going a little
myself a little
bold.
too much on this
Going a
game,
little
but
bold. I like it. I like it.
I, I like the way the Eagles are rebounding. Two things we have to bring up, Andrew. Jalen Carter's back. William Johnson's back.
That's those are huge. Yeah, those are huge.
I think if those two players aren't playing, maybe it gets a little more interesting. But for me, um, it's really just about the passing game of the Bills. And without
Hmm.
here's the thing is that Khalil Shakir needs his ivory, right? If he's ebony ivory, he needs his yin or his yang, depending on which one he
Hmm.
is. He just doesn't have that. And if it's just going to be the Khalil Shakir passing game, I mean, like I talked about this with Dallin, right? He laughed at me a little bit, but I'm telling you, Josh Allen misses Mac Hollins. He misses the sure target guy that on like 3rd and 5, you know he could get the ball and get that first down. They don't have
Hmm.
that. I don't know. I mean, I just think back to the Houston Texans game. I think it's a perfect litmus test for how this offense has been underperforming. And I don't think it's because of scheme. I don't think it's because of necessarily Allen. I don't think it's because of Cook. I think it's really just down to the fact they don't have enough horses. And
Hmm.
um, eh, when I look at this matchup, the Eagles defense is playing about as well as it could. I know people are going to look at that Washington score and think they only won by 9. They didn't do their job. But that game was 10-29 until the Washington Commanders scored late. And the only reason they scored was Keely Ringo, who's been an awful player for the Eagles, gives up a pass interference call like he always does, puts the Commanders like the 2 yard line and they push it in. But up to that point, the Eagles did a great job, and I think that that's going to continue to this game. And I, I just I did think it was going to happen this way, but the Eagles have really picked up steam the past 2 weeks. And if
They
I'm the
have.
Bills, this is not the team I'd want to face right now.
You wanted
Um,
to face the Eagles 3 weeks ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I mean, I really do feel like the identity's coming together. I feel like they're managing the game better. Um, but the discussion for Jalen Hurts has always been different cook in the kitchen. And a different cook in the kitchen means the ingredients get cooked differently, and that it makes it really hard to be able to coalesce as an offense. And um, I think that Jalen Hurts deserves credit for playing better. I think that the Chargers game, people box score, look at it and think, wow, he gave up five
Hmm.
picks and or 4 picks, and they don't look at what really happened during that game, which is fine. I get it. People miss games; they can't watch everything. I can. Um, so I really feel confident that this is going to be an Eagles win, um, and they're still trying to keep their playoff hopes alive for the number 2 seed. And
For sure.
I think it's possible. I think the Bears could lose tomorrow,
Hmm.
or not tomorrow, on Sunday, and then you're tied with the same record, and then it just comes down to, okay, do the Vikings happen to bring a game where they could shut down the Bears? I'm not saying it will happen, but it definitely could happen. But I do expect AJ Brown and Devontae Smith to continue to have good games. They've been very productive. But the sneaky key factor for me in this game, Andrew, is Dallas Goedert. I
Mm,
don't know if the Bills have a game plan for being able to shut down Dallas Goedert, and that's been a big factor in the red zone. This is going to be a game that's going to be decided to me by red zone positioning, and the way the Eagles have executed on offense, I feel very confident that they're going to score a lot in this game. Um,
mm.
and I mean by a lot, by like 28 plus. I could see a 28 plus game for the Eagles. And that's going to be a hard race for the Bills to keep up in with the defense that the Eagles have right now. And Brandon Graham has been cooking as an interior defensive lineman, 3 sacks in the past 2 games. Um, I just think for the Bills, it's just inopportune timing.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I agree. And they haven't been that great of a team all year. They've been a kind of a roller coaster ride where they put up 40 against the Panthers and they lose against the Dolphins. It just doesn't make sense. And so last week they struggled against the Browns. They won, but they struggled. So they're a team. They're probably the easiest team to beat. That's 11-4 right now. The
Mm.
easiest 11-4 team to beat. Not saying that they're easy to beat, but as compared to the other 11-4 teams, them and the Bears, you're like, I'm not super scared of that team.
Oh, I would actually flip it. I'd go Bears as the easiest.
Yeah, that's
That'd be
fair. But
me.
I say they're both in that bucket. Like if you're
Yes.
playing the Bears or the Bills, like, hey, we can do this. If you're
Yep.
playing like the 49ers or the Rams, you're like, oh boy, this is going to be difficult. But you're not really feeling that
Man,
way against the Bills and Bears.
the crazy part is, Andrew, is the Bills and the Jaguars are in line to play each other if things stayed the same right now in the first round of the playoffs.
Mm, that'd be fun.
That would that would be a tough game. Oh
Hmm.
man. Playoff
I hope that
football
happens.
is right around the corner, man. It's right
I
around the
know
corner.
it's going to be fun. We'll have to, when the playoff starts, we'll have to predict who we think is going to make it to the Super Bowl and then who we think is going to win. That'll be
I
a fun
like it.
show.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you next time.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.